That worked. You're good now.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. Glad to be with you. We've got some great presentations lined up, and I was at a conference where they actually had what they called lightning talks, and they were really fun, and they were about 5 minutes long, and it just moved things really quick. So I guess we're kind of going that style today, but I've talked to a few of you, and I hope I'm not asking too much to ask you to share a few slides and kind of brag on your programs just a little bit and share what the good work you're doing with some of the other agents in the region. But I think it'll be a really valuable experience. So I hope it will work out well. I threw the presentation order up here today because I thought if anybody wanted to take a picture of that with their cell phone, they could have it real handy if you want to know who's going next. And we'll try to make these transitions as quick and smooth as we can. And anyways, if y'all need any help with anything, let me know. But we'll go from one right to the other, and during that transition, if we have a question or two, we could catch a question or two while the next person's getting their slide up on the screen. We're pretty full on presentations, and if there's anybody that's on this list that's not actually planning to present, they're just here to observe today, feel free to send me a chat, and if you have questions you want to throw in the chat, we might get some answers in the chat too if we're moving on to the next presentation. So feel free to use that chat as much as you want. And I'm excited to be with you this morning and get to hear some of this. And I know we've got several of our newer extension agents on board to learn from y'all too. So looking forward to getting started. I'm going to unshare, and Jacob, if you want to get ready to share, we'll let you go right in there, and then at the end I'll have a few slides that I'll kind of run through if time allows, just to make some general announcements. And I did
pretty good.
I'm not seeing yours. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're good, Jacob. So Jacob Boone, Hancock County, I'm going to turn it right over to you. We'll jump right into this.
Okay, so I guess I got the privilege of going first. I knew when I signed up to this, I probably usually with having B of my last name, it makes me go first a lot, which is okay. But anyway, I'm Jacob Boone. I'm in Hancock County. For those who are new or those who just started and hadn't met me yet, I am both an ag agent and 4-H, so I'm a split position, and then also county director. So that way you kind of know I wear multiple hats. But we'll go ahead and get into what we do here in Hancock County. Well, shoot, hold on. I think I need to stop it and start it over. I know what I've done wrong. Okay, so everybody seeing this? Ty?
Not yet.
Hold on. How about that?
It's coming in. Yes, we got your slide with the 3 on the left.
Okay. It's got master beef, master small ruminant, net B, and all that now.
Looks good.
Okay, yeah. So the two major programs that I do livestock wise are master beef and master small ruminant. Just a little bit about how I do these. Most of my programs are usually no longer than 4 days. And a lot of that has to do that I've always got 4-H to do. So I try to streamline a lot of my programs, and I double up a lot of topics on multiple nights. So usually my nights are closer to 2 to 2.5 hours, but that breaks it down, and that means it's not as many days. For master beef, I often use these two cattle conferences or expos. So many of us are part of the Northeast Tennessee Beef Expo committee, and a lot of that is just all of us that's in the upper east, northeast, and we conduct that program at the Greenville Experimentation Center, the Ag Research Center. So usually what that does, that's an all-day event. So that allows me to add a bunch of topics in one heap. And then oftentimes I have two other meetings with that. Sometimes we do a 2-day, or every year we do a 2-day deal in conjunction with NetBee. And sometimes I've used that as my master beef program. I've always do mine in the fall because spring is very busy with 4-H. So majority of my livestock programming is in the fall, where I think a lot of agents do maybe a spring and then kind of do a smaller version in the fall. Pretty much all of mine's in the fall. The other conference you see there, it's of course these are old brochures, but is the Cumberland Gap Cattle Conference. That is held in February. Usually it's the first Saturday in February every year. We didn't get to have it this year because we decided that it was too much up in the air to try to figure out how to do a virtual conference. What's really neat about that Cumberland Gap Cattle Conference is it involves Virginia Tech's extension, UT extension, University of Kentucky's extension, and then also Lincoln Memorial University with their veterinary department. What we do is we host the event at LMU. And so there's 3 agents from all different of those different universities who are involved in putting this program together. And it's a tri-state effort. So as far as the UT agents goes, it's myself, Blake Ramsey, and Tom Risen. And so we come together and we, very similar to Indy Cattle Conference, we try to figure out what are the needs of producers and try to address those. And of course we do hands-on portions of that conference and bring in speakers from wherever we can get them. And oftentimes we have speakers from all the 3 different universities, as well as LMU. For my master small ruminant, again, I do that one in the fall, and that is with, in conjunction with Hawkins County. Blake Ramsey and I have done 4 of those programs now. What we do is we alternate nights that we host, and then often, normally, this past year we didn't do a banquet because of restrictions, but we always do a banquet and kind of rotate whoever gets to host that. But it's pretty good. Blake and I have lots of small ruminant production, but don't always have enough to do a standalone class. So we always have done that together. And one thing that we've utilized is they also we do a Cumberland Gap Small Ruminant Conference. Now, in some years it's been held, in some years it hasn't, but we use that in conjunction with our master small ruminant producer. And so that just helps us, again, alleviate not having to do as many nights, and we can get the program done in kind of a short course manner. But those are my 2 main projects that I work on, and I often use different cattle conferences. I've even used the Southeast Beef Summit before to get some credits for different folks. So those are kind of my 2 highlight programs. This is what I'm currently working on in this place, but this is our new meat process facility. Now, of course, this is not the live side of livestock. This is more of the end product, but it's, I wanted to just kind of put a little plug out there. Been doing a lot of work with these guys. Just to give you some background information, they were granted from the CFAB program back in August and was given 90 days to get the project completed. They were one of 5 people or 5 individuals that were granted, and they were the only one that was able to finish the project on time. But they are fully up and running, been going since February 1st. As of yesterday, they had processed over 150 head of cattle. And right now they're only doing beef, but they do have plans to expand. And these guys are dreamers. These guys, and they put work to idea, and they are planning on building a facility identical to the one you see in the top left. And that one's going to be their hog processing. And eventually they want to do deer, and also maybe even be able to do goats and sheep when deer is not going on. So they've got big plans. They are constantly learning. The pictures you see there, that is Dr. Loveday. They're in the UT hat in each of those pictures. I had him come up on January 22nd, and he did a cutting demo / training for all the people that work on the cut floor. And the fellow with the larger beard, that is that's our butcher, or our head cutting floor butcher for this facility. And he was, right there, hands on, tight. We got to come up for that. But Dr. Loveday was up all day pretty much. We started about 10 o'clock and went well into about 5 o'clock. They fed us and everything. Of course, I just was an observer. I tried to help, but right now I'm working on trying to get any types of grants for these guys and looking at ways to cut some of their energy cost, and then also maybe for some of their expansion. So that's one of the big things I'm working on. One of the things I really have enjoyed. It's a great group of folks, and if you need someone or someone, when you've got a producer that needs some processing of some beef, shout out to me. I've got their contact information. They'll doing their best to try to accommodate as many people as possible. They are a little bit smaller facility than what they kind of had planned. So the hanging period is only 7 days right now. And that's so that way they can turn over as many carcasses as possible. But they do really good work, really good packaging. I've gotten some from them different times, and they do a really good job. They, like I said, are wanting to expand, and they really wanting to put that together and try to get, they do have the goal of getting USDA certified eventually. So that way they can do both custom meats and USDA. And eventually they were going to do some retail selling as also. So
Jacob,
right now they think go ahead.
We may finish up right there just to keep us on time, if that's
Okay.
good.
That is fine by me.
Our next presenter is Shannon DeWitt. Josh was going to go in another session, so we're going to skip that one. But Jacob, I think it'd be great if you could put their contact information in the chat, if you want to put that in there for everybody.
I can do that. Yes, sir.
I know folks are having a hard time getting beef cattle processed and getting on a schedule, so that might be really handy for folks to have. And Shannon, I think I gave you a little heads up on the chat, so hopefully you're ready to roll with yours. Did you, if you saw it? I did enjoy getting up there with you, Jacob, and Dwight Loveday said that was the first time he'd cut up a whole beef carcass in many years. It's great to see that coronavirus go into something that really is going to help farmers, I think, to have another facility to go to.
Is my presentation up?
I think it's, if you go to display settings and switch your screen, we're seeing the 2 screen with the next slide. And I think if the display settings will switch that so it goes to your other screen. Swap. There you go. All set.
All right. Sorry about that.
You're good to go. Thanks, Shannon.
Okay. So I didn't get a crazy fancy presentation because I've been putting it together pretty quickly. But in Union County, we did the virtual master beef producer program both in the fall and the spring. Everybody that's taken it has loved it. We've done some different things, but for the most part, most of my farmers, the large majority of them are part-time farmers. So most of them are more than happy to, actually every one of them that I've talked to have been pretty happy with the online format. One was telling me how much he enjoyed the fact that he would get home back in October and he would get his cows fed, and instead of going in the nice evenings, he would watch the Zoom classes on his phone, which was the only way for him to participate. So we've done both fall and spring. I've had much bigger interest than I thought I would, which was 10 in the fall and 10 this spring. So I don't have huge classes anyway, but on a normal year, but that's kind of what we've been up to. I decided in the spring to do some extra classes. I mean, one that's of course really relevant right now was selling your own beef. And I really would like to find out more about Sarah Orr's Freezer Beef Institute, because there was a lot of interest in this class. I had a lot of people participate and be, interested in it and had questions beyond what I thought of. And as I did the presentation with Dr. Loveday, that Dr. Loveday had created, and I kind of adapted to just, this is how you're going to sell it, and this is some of the things you might see. I realized there's just so much more depth I could go into. So Sarah, if you're on here, I'm looking to find out from you more. That also was brought upon because last fall I did a class with the Center for Profitable Ag called the Western Niche Meat School. And it was a really neat class. It was from, it was on the Pacific time. So it started at 9 o'clock at night. So I had to rewatch all of them, but they were super neat in just learning new. So I thought I really needed to take that experience and share that. And I think there's a lot of potential to go beyond that and share it. So it's kind of been a jumping off point of another program that I'm going to start. I don't know how soon, but it will start. So, and then I also, one thing that I identify in my county as something that's really needed is education about vaccinations, deworming, what to use. So in addition to the health class that was in Master Beef just a few weeks ago that Dr. Lou presented, I would also wanted to have a second one. I wanted that to count as a part of Master Beef, but I also wanted it to be totally open to anybody that wanted to participate, even if they don't want to take Master Beef. So that's actually tonight, and I have a registration of it, registration for it, and I have several people that are not participating in Master Beef participating in this class. Dr. Gibbons is a professor up at LMU, and she's really great to work with. My farmers really liked her. So if you're in that upper area and can't get Dr. Strickland, she might be a great opportunity for y'all to have somebody to talk to. And then other things that I've done, I've got a little video here, is I've trimmed some goat feet. What you can't see, and I didn't get her in the picture, is Mary Morgan, who is one of my 4-H'ers who just recently got hired as a 4-H agent out at, I'm not sure what county, in Martin. So we went out and trimmed a goat's hooves a few times. And the other big thing I've been working with is I've always had a farmer's market here in Union County. Started in 2011, which was my second year on the job. And it's grown over the years from a few people set up in a parking lot to now it's a full-blown 501c3 and its own nonprofit board. We wrote a grant for the CARES Act for the farmers market, and we got $200,000. We bought some laptops and SNAP equipment and got a website. And with any time that's remaining, I'll show you the website. I don't know how much I have left, Ty. So.
You got another minute there, Shannon. If you want to do that, that's great.
We got a really
Kelly,
neat.
You're on standby.
This website could have cost around $3,000, and it's going to manage quite a bit of what we need. We're going to start an online market. Right now, it's
seeing the website. By the way,
huh?
We're not seeing the website. Are we supposed to?
Yes, you're supposed to be seeing it. So let me stop sharing and restart. Forgive me. Technology, right? Here it is. It's beautiful. Look at this website. So absolutely beautiful. They said that this could have been done for around $3,000. We had grant money, so we spent more. We did some search engine optimization. We're going to do some online social media marketing as we go into it, but we have this beautiful web page. It's going to help us. It's for customers. It's for vendors. We'll eventually have this online market up and running, but that's not going just yet. It's soon. We're PayPal so that they can accept payment from customers and then pay farmers for the things that they purchase. So any questions or?
All right, Shannon, we might let you unshare and Kelly go ahead, but if there's any questions, we got a second for those. The website looks great. One thing I was thinking, Shannon, we might want to click around and check that out. If you want to put the web link in the chat that let some of us check out your new farmers market website, and it looks fantastic.
Awesome. And I just saw your message in the chat now, Ty. Sorry.
Sorry I didn't get you a better heads up. I should have texted you. All right, well, Kelly, I think we're ready for you. It's showing up with the 3 slides on the left. If you want to do presentation mode, you can, or you can go right ahead.
Okay. Can you see it now?
We can, and if you want to do, that's the thing, to switch the display, that'd be perfect.
How about now?
Perfect. You got it.
Awesome. Okay.
Kelly
So,
Brady from Polk County. Here we go.
all right. So I am going to, can y'all see my new slide now? It says Master Beef. Okay,
Got
good
it.
deal. So my main program here in Polk County is Master Beef. I started this program when I first came to Polk County. It had never been done in Polk County before. I started it in 2015, right after I arrived in 2014. I usually start planning about 6 months before. I have partnered with Polk County or with Bradley County in the past, and done a co-partnership in Bradley County, and did that until about last year in 2020. And we had certified about 102 participants in that program. And then now, since the state has put it on and it's a virtual program, I have to advertise through emails and flyers to get my participants. And that's going pretty well. I don't have nearly as many participants through the virtual program, but it's going a little bit better than I expected it to. But the 2015 was probably the biggest, and that's what this picture is that you're seeing here, was probably the biggest amount of participants I had, and I had 31, or we, Bradley County too, had 31 participants during that year. And we would do the 7 different classes and then have a meal with that. And now that the state is doing the virtual, we have to advertise it through flyers and emails and the newspaper, and as many ways as we can, social media. And I always offer them something extra, like a license plate, or I have a notebook put together this year for them, and then they get ink pen, and then they also get their sign and their hat, their USB, and their certificate. And that's how I do my Master Beef program. And then the other programs that I usually offer, now that the state's doing the virtual small ruminant producer program, I offer that one, and then the Master Farm Manager, and then the row crop producer virtual classes. I also am a 60% adult ag, 40% 4-H. So I thought I'd mention some of my 4-H programs in case there's other 4-H agents that have some responsibility on here. So this year we're doing a shotgun team for shooting sports. We have two volunteer leaders that went and got trained in January. So they are looking to get sponsorship and supplies for this year. They thought it was a little too soon for them to have a team together in May. So they are looking for sponsorship and supplies this year. They're going to start in the fall to see how many kids are interested, because they might have an overwhelming number. So they're going to look at that for the fall. I'm also doing a poultry project. And then I hope to have a meats and wildlife judging team this year, which we haven't done before. So we're looking for that too. And I will take any questions if anybody has any.
And Jenny Goodrich, if you want to go ahead and start your sharing process, any questions for Kelly? And Kelly, I'm glad you threw in the 4-H part. So yes, we're talking the livestock quite a bit today, but there may be some other topics that show up. And so nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, I think that adds to the whole flavor of the session, gives a little variety. So we've got Jenny Goodrich from Morgan County getting ready to come on. Looks like she's about to do it right here.
Trying. Let's see. Can you see?
We've got it up now. It's got the 4 slides on the left.
See if this works. Does that work?
Perfect. You're good to go. Thanks, Jenny.
So thought today what we do is if I could just show you a little bit about our new Farmer Academy. I know you guys have heard about it, but I wanted to throw out there that it really is just kind of Ag 101 for adults. We get a lot of folks who come in and want to get started, but really don't have a good realistic picture of what getting started in ag is all about. They all think they're going to make $40 million on 5 acres. Sometimes we call it the bubble popping class. But we go through and we try to help them with some farm management, some layout, some goal setting. Builderback does a great job talking about what the cost of the enterprises are and what a realistic expectation would be for turnaround and outcome. We try to make a combination of kind of traditional classroom best management practices and field trips. We're just a branch of 3 programs that go across the state. There's a Middle Tennessee, the luxury of meeting there at the farm, which gives them a slightly different parameter. And then West Tennessee has Lone Oaks and the Agri-Center International facility that they're using. So we're a little different. We're entirely field trip based. So we meet in the mornings and try to do best management practices to kind of counteract some of the misinformation that's out there on social media. And I'm trying to think of the nice way to say it. All of the information that everybody thinks there's free money everywhere. And a lot of it is just a giant scam. And so being able to talk to them about what real research based, where to find the information, what's repeatable, and what actually works in our part of the state is a big focus of what we do. We spend a lot of time fielding questions about liquid calcium that worked great in South Texas, but we don't have a calcium deficiency on our hill, so it doesn't really do anything for us. So we spend a lot of time answering those questions. On the livestock side, it's a 7-month deal. So on the livestock side, we have a lot of folks interested in the small farm side of things. Multi-species grazing. They really want to talk about regenerative agriculture. So we try to slide in that a lot of the regenerative agriculture really is the best management practices that we've done for the last 30 years. So we try to slide those in and correlate those for them. We try to talk about rotational grazing. We try to incorporate NRCS. We try to incorporate USDA and TDA. This year, we're not going to be meeting indoors. We're going to be 100% outdoors. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can't skip ahead here. Sorry about the warranty on my vehicle message in the background. Don't you love those? We sort of shift every year depending on what people are asking us to teach. Sometimes we have a lot of goat projects, and sometimes we have a lot of cattle interest, and a lot of times we have, I want to multi-species graze. I'm going to take this outside with you guys. Hold that thought just a second while this is talking. I haven't quite mastered the working from home thing. Sorry about that. But we do have several sites that we visit, and they shift based on what the interests of the class are every year. We try to survey everyone ahead of time, figure out where they're starting and where they're going to, their goals are, so that we can tailor those field trips to meet those goals. I'm gonna miss next week, but I wanted to throw in there our forestry tours. And we do a lot of niche market and greenhouse farmers market kind of classes as well. If you'd like to come out and hang out with us, we'd love to have you. Just let me know ahead of time. This year, we're going to do 2 sessions. We're going to do a Thursday session and a Friday session so that we can keep the classes a little smaller and make sure we've got the COVID rules all in check. But we'd love to have you. Just let me know. That's probably all I've got, Ty. That was probably the most unorganized presentation I've done. Sorry about that.
Oh, I think the pictures tell 1,000 words. It was perfect.
Okay.
So thanks for sharing, Jenny. And
A little background distraction.
if you want to unshare, next up will be John Gunter. And the thing, Jenny and I talked a little bit that Thursday is a real small group, and she'd love to have some more extension agents come out and join that group. So on those Thursday sessions, especially if you're a new agent, just want to get out on a farm and get a little closer to check out what she's got going on there. She's working with a lot of agents in multiple counties, and many of you are involved with that. So we appreciate that work, and hope we can get some agents out there to join that group this year.
We've got some cool specialists coming. Dr. Onwandi's the new hemp specialist for TSU, and he's going to come out for our June class. I'll send you all a list. So even if you just see 1 or 2 sessions like, oh, I want to meet that guy, let me know so I can get you on the list, and I'd love to have you.
John, I see your screen there. Looks like you're ready to roll.
Can you see everything now?
So we're on the one where it says next slide, but if you go up to that display settings and hit swap, it should be perfect. Right there at the top, display settings should switch it to the presentation. All the way up there, display settings, and then if you hit that drop down, it'll give you swap screen.
Man, I've been looking at this, but I'm not.
So what I'm seeing, oh, it's probably covered up with the zoom options there. If you can push those zoom settings to the side, you can see it.
Man. Well,
no big deal if we need to go with this. I was just trying to.
well, no, I don't know why I'm just not seeing that on my.
Does it have a zoom bar at the top of what you're seeing?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Ty, can you hit it? You might be able to. It might let you.
Yeah, no, I'm not able to do that. So what we're seeing is at the very top of your screen, it says show taskbar, and then it says display settings. And if you click that drop down, it would give swap screen.
Yeah, it's not.
We can see it just fine. So if you want to roll with what you got, we're fine, John.
Well, I don't. Are you seeing anything now?
Yeah, livestock horse.
Okay.
And the first one we're seeing it. It just isn't quite the presentation mode, but it's good.
Well, sorry about that. I don't know I don't have that option on my front screen. But anyway, I've got a 5-minute clock set. Mine's real simple. A few things that we're doing here right now. We're going out. This is fixing to let out for bid. We're building a new facility south of where we're at right now. The county purchased 15 acres on the main highway there, and so we're getting a new building and an auditorium and a pavilion type area where we can do demos in the back, have cattle shows or anything like that. That's been ongoing for a couple of years now, but I applied for some grants and we were able to get some funding, and then the county jumped in and pushed real hard, and so we're fixing to get a new facility. They think we'll be in it by December of this year, but I know that process is slow sometimes, so we'll just have to see how that develops. As far as me, and this is just recent stuff that we're doing right now. This isn't things we've done in the past, but this is what we're doing right now in our livestock and horse area. have such a demand that we offer every second Tuesday night. We have a class every second Tuesday night of each month. And typically those, I feed everybody at those, and it's in conjunction with our Cattlemen's Associations. We do that every second Tuesday night from October to October. If the participants, I keep a sign-in sheet and keep tabs on everybody that's been there. When they attend 7 of those in a calendar year, then they can come to me and say, hey, I want my master beef certificate, and they pay their $75 and get their certificate. That's still not enough, though. Typically, those meetings will have anywhere from 25 to 45 each month. So we do a spring and a fall class as well to catch up the balance. So typically, we've got about 450 master beef certified folks here in the county. And so I do a 2-day class all day for the spring and fall for those folks who can't get out to the night meetings. A lot of times toward our beef folks, we're really we have a lot of beef numbers here. I think top 2 or 3 in background cattle, and top 10 in cow calves. So there's a lot of demand for that. Also do pasture walks and stuff. We've got a couple of those lined up for spring, especially before spring seed, and even more importantly in the fall, before fall seeding times and things of that nature. So a big clientele in that here, and we do a lot of work with that. Also, with my responsibility, I have a small percentage there, 4-H as well. So I handle the livestock judging teams. We've been practicing those teams. I've got about 18 or 19 that come twice a week. We do that after school here at the office twice a week, and then go out on farms and look at cattle. So it's been different this year trying to get ready, because you don't know where we're going. But as far as we know, our next thing is agribition. So that's kind of the way we look at that. We got several kids showing calves, so we looking at those and working with those kids on those type of things. Also here, not next week, but the week after, we'll get our chicks in, and that's a pretty big part of our program, especially in 4-H, because it generates, I think last year close to $6,000 selling 25 lots of 20 birds each. So all those applications are in. We'll award those chicks out here in a couple of weeks and get that show on the road. With mine too, we're pretty heavy into the Master Garden series and things. That wasn't a program we had. We started after I got here, or took the job anyway, and it's been really good for us. We have a lot of participants, and actually fixing to host the East Tennessee Fall Garden Festival in the fall. We did have obviously planned for this spring, but with everything that's going on, we're looking to pushing that back, and it's going to be in the fall this year. And so we'll tour several places here in the county, greenhouses, wineries, orchards, and things. And we've got some neat things lined up, we hope, for the fall. I also do a grafting short course. So I'll get rootstock in, and we'll do our short course on March 18th. It's a really big thing. It's hard to get everybody in that wants in. I have to limit the numbers on that because we do a lot of hands-on. But our Master Garden classes will start up in April. So each year, I used to do 2 of those classes a year on the front end because we had so many doing it. Now I can get away with doing one. We'll have anywhere from 10 to 15 participants in that. So we have a big time with that as well. Also, maybe something a little bit different that we do here as far as my obligations, I guess, is I'm on the Master Garden, the beef, and the apiary work group. I'm the chair of that one. And so we're right now putting together our Master Bee course. It's going to be online. And I think that'll be out. I'm not for sure. Dr. Sarut has not got it pinned down just yet, but I know that's in the works. We talked about it last week in our work group meeting. So your producers, there should be something up as far as an online Master B course here before too long. I wouldn't call about it or anything like that, but it'll be out here before too awful long. But I also do a B short course here. That one's going to be on April the 23rd. They don't get Master B credit obviously for that, but there's a demand here, and so I'll have several people from here and then other surrounding counties that will come to that short course where we'll talk about bees and management, and then we'll take them out to the apiary and show them some bees. And then a new thing that I've been working with was some of the state parks. We're putting bees on those state parks and trying to get some help in that regard. So that's just a little bitty snapshot of what's going on right now. I'm sorry the slideshow didn't work out right, but that's kind of what I had, Todd.
Sounds good, John. Thanks a lot. If you want to go ahead and unshare, our next presenter is going to be Larry Mitchell from Meigs County. Any questions for John while we're in transition? That new building looks like it's going to be super. I don't know how you squeezed 45 into that meeting room in your office. I'd like to see that. Larry, we can see your slide there. Looks like it's coming in. All set to go.
Well, I couldn't figure out how to get unmuted there for a minute, but I'm good now. Other than that, I was talking right along. Y'all just couldn't hear me. Kind of just run through a few little things with us. You know, in the southeast corner, we kind of like to do multi-county stuff. We blur county lines pretty bad. And so one of our deals and got started off as a Southeast Tennessee heyday way back in the day, and you see there the flyer there, it's from 2010, and we had Amanda Reiki from South Dakota come and do a program there, and that's kind of before she was famous and writing books and all those kinds of things. But that we actually had the tractor companies come out and do hay production and that kind of thing on a local farm there. Kind of worked out really well for a few years, and it kind of grew into, and that's one of the slides from the heyday there, kind of grew and we kind of felt like we had kind of reached our peak at that kind of deal. So we started to think about what else we might be able to work on, and that's when we did the Southeast Tennessee Farm Tour. We did that for 2 or 3 different years, and kind of we felt like we were very successful, got to go see a lot of things and travel around a little bit through East Tennessee. Went to the experiment station one year, went to Bush Brothers one year, just for some different things to go see. And again, we kind of felt like we reached our peak on it and changed up one more time for our Southeast Tennessee Beef Summit. And we do that at the Expo Center, and we're very excited about the fact we just found out this morning that we got approved for June 4th for 2021 to have our beef summit this year. We, in the past, we've had 200 to 300 folks. 2019, we had Booger Brown from the television show, The Cowboy Way, Alabama. And we've had Ron Gill come from A&M and do cattle handling, that kind of thing. We are scheduled for this year to have Dr. Dean Fish from Arizona to come and do some cattle handling stuff for us and kind of some general, I won't say marketing, but general beef production topics that Dr. Fish will be doing. So hopefully that's something that we can continue to grow. Our deal has grown from Tim Woods and I started out on this, and now on the Beef Summit committee and Jason from Bradley County. And so we've kind of let that expand and grow somewhat, or helped it to grow, we hope. so that we can be able to accomplish more and make more contacts and get more people exposed to agriculture. Our other deal that I feel like has worked out super well, and that's our Southeast Tennessee Bull Soundness Exam Clinic. We started that out using local veterinarian, went to the stockyards at Athens, and we'd be somewhere in the 25 to 30 bulls that they were bringing in for a BSE. And so we felt like that was being very helpful for our producers. I've been on one particular ranch when on preg checking day and discovered that the bull wasn't doing his job, and it wasn't a very, very pleasant day. So we've kind of developed that. Also, we tried to build in, last time we were able to have it, we tried to build in a little bit more education to it. We set up with Dr. Strickland to be able to come and do this, and we moved it to the McMinn County High School so that the kids could be able to come in, and Dr. Strickland did a lot of education as far as the ag classes that were coming while we were testing bulls there. And he also, pretty neat deal, had a lady there that was interning with him from Australia. And she is sure a sport. Somebody, I won't quote who it was, but somebody gave her the opportunity to experience her first dip of snuff. And so it turned out pretty good. She kind of liked it, I think. But we have enjoyed doing that and the service. Shannon said about the master beef is a big part of our deal too, but I agree with what she said. All of my producers that's done the online master beef think it's the grandest thing ever. I think that has really worked out. And in the past, the folks have been able to get some master beef credit from our beef summit and from the education taking place there. And so that's kind of where we are.
Sounds good, Larry. Thanks so much. If anybody has a question as we're transitioning, feel free to jump on here. Next up is going to be Sarah Orr from Cocke County. Well, you guys are moving fast.
Let's see if I can't get this to cooperate. Can you hear me? I'm using a different computer than normal.
Coming through good and looks good. I think you're ready to roll.
Awesome. So I just kind of threw this together. I figured a lot of people would cover master beef, and in Cocke County, master beef is just something we do on a regular basis. So I chose to talk about some of the other different things that we're doing. Of course, everybody has heard about Freezer Beef Institute by now. When I put this together, I thought, personally, I'm feeding a couple of freezer beefs. I know I've got some farmers that are, and when COVID came along, that became something that I was seeing a lot more interest in. And of course, we set it up to do it virtually. Thank you, COVID, for that. But I'll be honest, when I put this together, I thought, if we have 15 people that join this, I will consider this a success. This will be great and wonderful. By the time it was all said and done, we ended up with 150 or better. And you can ask the girls that I work with, I was pretty overwhelmed that it became that successful. So thankful and excited that this 3-part series was beneficial to so many people. We kind of tried to take the whole approach. We see a lot of classes with master beef of talking about carcass quality and the cuts of beef, but I didn't really see much out there that was talking about, okay, this is what you need to feed them, and this is how long you need to feed them. This is how you know when you're finished feeding them, and that kind of thing. So we tried to set it up from that approach. We had Dr. Katie Mason come on and talk about nutrition. We had Megan Brulafew from the Center for Profitable Ag to talk about regulations and rules and things you can do, things you can't do, marketing, that kind of thing. I did a class on selection about, and then, of course, we got Dr. Loveday to come and talk about carcass quality and that kind of thing. And then we also had Andrew Griffith join us to talk about the economics of it. You know, at what point does it make sense to feed that calf versus selling them as a 5.5 weight steer on Saturday? So, like I said, it grew to be way more interesting than I ever could have dreamed that it possibly would be. And any of the resources that I have from that, if you scan this link right here, it should take you to the registration page. All of those webinars are available on demand. So if you want to watch it, you want to share it with some of your producers, those are all still live and available to be seen. There's also a Google Drive folder that has all the presentations and that kind of thing in it, that if you're interested in having access to that, you're more than welcome to. I'll be happy to send you the link. One of the other livestock related programs that we do in Cocke County, this is kind of multi-county work, is Tailgate University. And I know y'all have heard of that one before too, but one perk of being in a family of extension agents is when we got quarantined this time last year, Dad and I were able to do some unique work. And, you know, this kind of, I won't say it started out as a joke. It started out as how can we continue to reach our farmers when we can't go see them face to face? And we came up with the tailgate part of it. And it's grown to be interesting as well. We expanded and added the farmer life skill. I've seen producers find that helpful because they've heard of things like the Pearson Square, but they don't remember all the details, so they can go back and watch this YouTube video, learn a little bit about it, and then they maybe can use that or have it as a jumping off point to start asking us questions. You can see up here, we've expanded and added a few guest speakers along the way. I'll be honest, when we kind of got back to being able to do stuff a little more normally, ag enhancement. So we're looking forward to getting that kicked back up in gear this spring. I called Dad the other day and I said, we need to do a series on something to do with mud because everybody has it. Everybody's mad about it. And they all want to know what can we do about the mud. So that's something that I think we can address through Tailgate University that we're going to try to put together in the next couple of weeks. And then finally, this one, we've tried to do a forage meeting a couple of different times here in Cocke County, and I won't say it's been unsuccessful, but I'll say it's not been as successful as I wanted it to be. And we know that forage issues are something that my producers really want to know more about. So this is my third attempt at a different approach of providing them forage education. We'll see how it goes. But the general idea is through the past 12 months or so, we have access to lots of videos and lots of education. So I want to share those links with them and provide like a real short questionnaire, 2 or 3 questions, just to kind of show that they did actually watch it. They'll of course get a certificate of completion. And then at the very end, we're going to do a drawing, and we're hoping to use this kind of as a carrot a little bit of this Yeti Rambler down here to kind of take with you to the hayfield this summer, because everybody gets hot in the hayfield, and that's a 1/2 gallon that in my mind is tractor and hayfield proof a little bit if you don't have a cab tractor. So we're hoping maybe that'll kind of draw them in a little bit, and since it's virtual, kind of go at your own pace, they'll be able to do it on their own time. And that's kind of all we've got going. If anybody's got any questions, I'll be happy to do my best to answer them.
Thank you, Sarah. Our next speaker will be J.C. Raines from Bledsoe County. While he's getting ready, any questions for Sarah? I know we were looking forward to hearing about FBI. Well, feel free to throw something in the chat there, and thanks for offering us to have access to those videos. I think some of us might be real interested in that. And I really appreciate your marketing photos. I think that that's good stuff. Thank you. Well, JC, looks like you're all set.
All right, everything coming through okay?
Looks good.
All right.
Good.
I figured everybody be on Master Beef as well. That's one of the things that we pretty much do every year. We average around probably 100 or a little more every year. Usually we do a spring and a fall class. Sometimes we do a class over the hill there in Hamilton County. This past year we were able to get one in-person class in. That picture there is from that class. It's probably about 2 weeks from when we figured out we need to be social distancing. So that may be one of those classic photos there. And then we had one that we kind of did combination in person and virtual that we did. And then we did one virtual. And then again, this year we did a virtual. And next year, or this coming fall, I'm hoping maybe we can do an in-person, depending on, I guess, how things go. I'll probably still do a Zoom option with that because, again, like several people has mentioned, it's kind of either folks love it or hate it. I spent a lot of time trying to get people trained on how to get on Zoom, and I think once they got the hang of it, they kind of liked it. So that's going to be a good option for us, I think, as agents. As far as TAP goes, we're still kind of, I guess we're chasing Greene County, trying to get some more money. We're either really poor or really greedy here in Bledsoe County. Seems like that's all we want is money. But I think last year we were in the livestock area. We were around $250,000 in cost share dollars, and then poultry we had about 30,000. I'm hoping that we're going to grow that poultry number this coming year because they kind of made it more suitable for egg houses, which is predominantly what we have in our area. So hopefully grow that one there. They were something big. I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but they added slats on that this year, and unfortunately they had them listed as plastic, and nobody here in our county uses plastic. They use wood, so they opened that up to wood this year, so that helped us a lot. As far as TAP for our reports here in the county, it's really pretty handy. I know that you saw that Gary Bates had sent out an email that had a little summary of every county. That's good information to use. One thing I like about it is it's just so easy to show impact and economical impact with that data. We share it at the Farm City Breakfast that we have through the Chamber of Commerce here. People are just really pleased with how much that impacts the community in terms of producers and local businesses, barn builders, building supply places. It's just really good. It looks really good on everybody. We also use that with our county ag committee and our county commission. It helps with our budgets when we go to ask for more money. It seems like they always like to talk about how much money we bring in, and that's a good way to show what money that you're bringing in. As far as the other programs like that, I didn't add them because I usually don't do them, but Whitney still does the small ruminant programs, Master Small Ruminant program. She has also done some horse stuff, but I didn't include that because that's what she does. As far as like the Cattlemen's Association, in the past we were doing bi-monthly meetings, and then we started doing quarterly meetings. That's always been a really good thing. That they've been really supportive of our programs here. I kind of serve as an ex officio, setting up meetings, setting up the board meetings, just kind of handling some tasks like that. But again, we've not met this year and the latter part of last year, so we're hoping that we can find a location to do it outside once it warms up and get that back going. As far as I had that CFAP little picture there, because we've not really done a lot of that as far as actual paperwork with it, but our FSA office closed here a few years ago, and it was moved to either producers had a option to go to Ray or Cumberland County. So we don't have an FSA office here. NRCS office is still here, but they've been closed to the public. And what we've been doing with that is Maria out Crossville at FSA, she's basically sends paperwork down here. We have people scan it or sign it, and we scan it in, send it back to her to try to help folks travel wise that way. But that's pretty much a quick down and dirty of livestock stuff we got going here.
Thanks, JC. Appreciate the extra tips on the TAP with the poultry deal. That sounds good. Well, our next speaker is Blake Ramsey from Hawkins County. Any questions for JC during our transition time? Well, Blake, looks like you're ready to roll. Everything looks good on screen.
Okay, go ahead and get started here. I know a lot of us have some of the same things, but I'll go over some things right quick that we do that's maybe a little bit unique in Hawkins County. Some of you probably heard about or got an email or about the Appalachian Goat and Sheep Alliance. We might have some new people on here that don't know about it, but it's been a huge, real big success in the county, and we have a lot of people that take advantage of it, even across state lines. But most of the people's in East Tennessee, but we get them from different places. But the sheep and goats are sold in New Holland, Pennsylvania, which gives us a better market. And you can just have producers call us to co-sign on that or consign and sign up for it. Each animal must have a scrapie tag, and then we load out on Saturdays at the Cattleman's building here in Hawkins County. And I've excuse me, to show economic impact, but around $26,000 over the average market price was brought back to those producers because they usually bring 30 to 50% more per pound than local markets. So it does fluctuate, but we usually try to schedule our loadout dates, and you can see the 2021 schedule. We try to put those around ethnic holidays and also around the times of the year where we usually see an increase in prices. So we try to hit the best markets so the producers can get a better price. And it's really worked out well. And again, you can contact me. Our next one is March 20th, and we've already got close to a full load for it. But so that's worked well. The Hawkins County Cattlemen's Association video sales been going on for a long time as well. It's still, we still do that, and it's still a great thing for producers. We don't load out or have as many loads as they used to, but we still do around 4 tractor trailer loads per month. We sell those as yearling cattle. They're weaned and vaccinated. Most of the time the heifers are around 750, steers are 850. Sometimes we'll do a little lighter loads, but most of those are heavier weight yearling cattle. And the economic impact last year was around $360,000. And we can do co-mingle cattle. What's a good thing about this is each producer, they might not have enough, for a tractor trailer load, but if they want to bring 15 or 20, and they can put those light kind cattle with another producer that's done the vaccination protocol and, weaned them, just as long as they're medium to large frame and they're heavy muscled, they're, ones, we try to stay with ones. As far as muscling, then they can sell those together in a lock load. And they're, they'll bring usually at least 20 cents or more to 30 cents more than what they will in the market. So that's where you get that extra premium or impact there. And it's been a good thing. And you can contact me for additional information about that. Master Beef, I just seen where Dr. Bates sent that out, and we do really push Master Beef and BQA, do whatever we can to get people certified. And we had over 300 the last 3 years that graduated the Master Beef program. And the classes, we usually do that in spring and fall. And the Cumberland Gap Cattle Conference, when that is going, I usually try to use that as one day, which works well because we get a lot more presenters there and different presenters that maybe they've not heard. And then I'll use some other days to make up that class. But that works really good with the Cumberland Gap Cattle Conference. And I had a few people like, I don't know if I want to travel that far, because it does take about an hour, but I've never had one after they've went that didn't enjoy the hands-on conference and aspect of it there at LMU. And then in the fall, I usually try to incorporate the Northeast Tennessee Beef Expo with it. But this year, did the virtual one there in the fall. We did a multi-county deal, and then I'm doing actual one here by myself here in the county, a virtual one starting here in the spring, doing it now. And it's working out well. I've learned a lot. It's been a good thing. And then I just noticed on what Dr. Bates sent out there that we were second, looked like, in East Tennessee with 1,455 paid TAEP projects, which is a good thing. It means there's a lot of people that's taking advantage of TAEP. Maybe there's about 2 feeders. There's no minimum, so that's a good thing. We had a lot of people that took advantage in some way of the TAEP, and I think it was a little over $3.5 million that come back into Hawkins County during that program. So I was happy to see that, and it's been pretty successful here in the county. Last thing, I still do a little bit of 4-H work with the livestock side. I coach the livestock judging team, and we also still do the Tri-County Livestock Judging Skill-a-thon event. Wasn't able to do that the past year because of the COVID, but that's something that we still try to do. And I got a grant in 2009 to purchase some skill-a-thon kits and money to get some awards, and I included Sullivan and Hancock counties in that grant, and it's been great. We run probably 20 to 40 people, kids, in that event. And what's really unique about it is we have 4 species that we'll let them judge: cattle, sheep, swine, and goats, and we'll do the same thing with livestock skill-a-thon. So we actually got kits for all those species, so they can go through and do skill-a-thon in all those species. And then they also judge cattle or judge all those animals as well. And the neat thing about us, we can do more hands-on, is we get to bring them back, and we'll show them what they missed. And, as far as skill-a-thon, so they can learn, actually see what they missed. Same way with judging, come back, go over the classes. They can actually look at the classes and see, what they missed as far as the judging part. So that's been a really good thing, and we still try to continue to do it as well. And the last thing I'll end up on, just looking at my notes here, I think my 5 minutes, I'm getting close here, but we do a master beef card on our master beef. And I thought that might be something, when you get an orange BQA card, all the producers they're like, I can never remember, on the master beef, because a lot of them, if they're like me, they lose their certificate. We get a lot of that, but we make a little card that's got their expiration date, when they'll need master beef again. And they really like that, because it's hard sometimes keeping up with what year I need it, because it goes by application year with TAEP. So we make a little card, and Maria, my secretary, she'll laminate that. And that's really been a big hit for the producers. They like that. Or it's just another card, but it helps them keep up with when they need master beef again. But anyway, I think that's it. And I'll turn it back over to Ty. Thanks.
Thanks, Blake. That card sounds like a really neat idea. So Jonathan Ray in Monroe County is our next speaker. If you want to get your slides ready there, looks like you're unmuted and getting ready. Any questions there for Blake?
I got my phone ringing, and my manage agent is calling me. He's probably wanting to talk about programming. But Ty, I've got too many slides, so I'm going to go really quick. And I did this in the thinking that maybe there's some people that don't know me. So I started an extension in '97 in Anderson County, and then I transferred in 2001 to Jefferson, and now I'm in Monroe. So that's kind of my deal. And I don't know who put this slide in here, because we're supposed to be talking about our programs, but this on the left is Houston. He's my 6-year-old. Alice is in the middle, and Hayden's on the right, my 15-year-old basketball player. And we've had a good season, and that's just come to a close. I do
as all of you, I do Master Beef Producer. It's part of my Monroe County Livestock and Forage component of my program. And I will echo the sentiment that's already been said that, you know, the virtual deal is pretty good. And I think my folks have liked that too. But before virtual and Zoom, I did this at East Tennessee Livestock Center, and I normally did it in November, tried to be done by the 15th of November. I do it in 2 weeks. I tried to incorporate some farm tours most recently on that, and I think people like that. They like getting out and seeing what other folks are doing in their area. Another thing that I do that's part of my Monroe County Livestock and Forage program is I run a bull leasing program, and most all of my presentation today is really nothing new that I've started. It's stuff that was here when I came here, I inherited, and it just goes with my county where I'm at. So if you're in another county and you think, man, that's a lot of stuff or whatever, or it's not a lot of stuff, it's really county specific to what you have to work with. But this deal right here was started in 1973, and we've been through about 7 different banks, and it's an annual bull lease. There's about 30 bulls that's in the program. We don't have anywhere to house the bulls, so if you rent a bull, it's as if you own it. You keep the bull. Sometimes I get stuck with a bull at my house, or Mark Houston will, or one of my farmers will house a bull for me, throw it in with some Holstein steers or something. But normally we don't do that. It's kind of an annual deal, and it's like you own it. The way the lease works, it's a written lease agreement. The bank takes care of the lease. The bank takes care of all the checks, the money, the deposits. My role is to procure the bulls and to shuffle them around and to deal with problems if there's a problem. But it's 20% of the cost of the bull plus a $35 bank fee. And just some simple impact stuff. You know, if you breed 25 cows with these bulls, we're breeding about 750 cows a year. And that ties into our whole program in this valley, and it allows us to somewhat control our genetics. And it has been able to give us a platform to have some stuff to start grouping. And I, as Larry and Tim, I do this bull breeding soundness exam clinic. I do it the first Saturday in January. It's always really cold, and that's not a good time to do this, but it's set up that way for my fall calving guys so that they can turn out about February 1, have a November 15th calf. And if their bull fails, they got a little bit of time to find them another bull to replace that. Ours is $45 for a bull, or it was this year. We vaccinate and deworm them. Zoetis donates all the vaccine for that. A local veterinarian, Dr. Beeson, does that. And I, as Larry said, about 25 to 30 bulls, that's a full day for us. And I wouldn't really want to do any more than that the way we're set up. But if you do this or think about it, you need to have good facilities. You need to have plenty of pen space. I try to make a schedule where guys don't all show up at the same time, because we are dealing with bulls. I've done everything from rodeo bulls to just regular Angus bulls to about any kind of breed. I really dreaded the rodeo thing, and I thought, man, this is not going to work good. This is going to be wild and crazy. But they handled the best. Those bulls are used to being loaded and going through chutes and doing the system. The Smoky Mountain Feeder Calf Association is something that I spend some considerable time with here in Monroe County. And this started back in the 60s. It's the oldest marketing alliance in the state of Tennessee. The sales are held at East Tennessee Livestock Center in Sweetwater. And in 2021, there's 13 sales that are planned, one a month. And this doesn't do any good for us really to convince guys to have a defined breeding season, because they about have any time of the year between Athens and Sweetwater have a sale that they can participate in. We have 7 premium sales of those 13. Those are where they're vaccinated and have the last rounds modified live and weaned. And then the other sales are ball and calves. Members are there's 2 people from each county that's on our board that participate in the sales. So we have people that's making decisions that's actually participating. And we have an annual business meeting in the wintertime, and many of you all have participated. We charge 75 cents per head for this feeder calf association, and 25 cents of that is for grading. We have state graders that come and grade the cattle. Mac Moss and Luke McPeak are normally the guys that grade those. 25 cents goes back to your local county association. So if some of you get a check from the Smoky Mountain Feeder Calf Association, that's what that check is for. And it's based on how many calves that you sold from your county in that. And then of course, a quarter's kept for our own association. This is a list of our last meeting that was held in 2020 there in January of the sales summaries for 2019 feeder calf sales. These are the counties that participated, the number of head. My county says there's 2,366 head. Now that they throw in Georgia and North Carolina and other counties into mine, so my number gets a little bit. But our total sales, we had 8,790 feeder calves in 2019. I spend a lot of time with our Monroe County Cattlemen's Association. It's part of my livestock and forage program here. Something we're proud of is in 2018, we started giving scholarships to students. We've given, this is on the left there is our most recent scholarship recipients in high school, and we give 4 $500 scholarships. We've also added some college scholarships to that, and we have a meeting in the wintertime, and we started selling, originally we selling finished steers or heifers for a freezer beef, but we got to thinking, well, all these are cattle people, they all have the opportunity to do that. So now we're selling a scholarship heifer, and that's how we generate money. And we have a silent auction, and our board works to put all that together and make that happen. Some additional stuff that I do, with neighboring counties, we do a multi-county Blount, Loudon, and Monroe agribusiness and producer weed tour. We're going to have our next one is scheduled for Wednesday, May the 26th of 2021. We work with Dr. Neil Rhodes on this. Years ago, we put out a lot of plots with Dr. Rhodes, and we'd go evaluate those and show those. But this will be a traveling in your own car. We'll talk about fence row, weed control, whatever's happening. Dr. Rhodes is scheduled to retire the end of June, and he approached us about doing this one more time. May the 26th will probably be in the heart of hay season, but it'll be what it is. We're going to do it. So if you would like to participate, we would love to have you, but you'll drive your own car and just kind of follow the group. I have I'm a very old school agent. Mr. Slider trained me and some of the other guys, but I have a no-till alfalfa demonstration here. Me and Dr. Bates worked with that, worked with a farmer. The seed cost on that tie was about $450 a bag. It's a Roundup Ready alfalfa. That's $9 a pound. That's very eye-opening from where we were years ago. Most recently, I've spent a lot of time on this PPP loan assistance through our local bank. People's Bank is here in Madisonville, and our county is doing these for farmers. It's for anybody that fills out a Schedule F or C on their tax return. It's an untaxable money that's available through the Coronavirus Assistance Program. If you're on this and you're listening, Anthony Carver, we've got Alice has gotten a lot of people out of Granger County that's participated in this here in Madisonville, and it's a forgivable loan. So it's something that farmers are available to participate in, and a lot of them don't know about. Our bank has done $5.7 million since January 1 in these loans. And it caps out if your gross income on your Schedule F is over $100,000, it's $20,800 that you're eligible for. But if you have farmers that you work with, other banks, River Valley Ag Credit's starting to do this, Regions Bank is doing this. some other banks have started. But anyway, that's something I've worked a lot on and tried to spread the word on. I have a beef cattle farm demonstration farm. Mr. Slager worked with Morgan Jones. Many of you older agents have been there. We've had in-services there. I continue to work with his son, Mike. They have 100 cows, and they have a lot of beef cattle farm data and record keeping that they've done there. I do a lot of dairy and beef farm visits here, or some dairy. That number is getting smaller as we speak. But some things I do in the summertime is calibrate no-till drills, help calibrate these pasture sprayers. I do a lot of that. People will call me, want to know how much chemical to put in there, and that's an opportunity for me to go out on their farm and actually teach them how to calibrate their sprayer. Online our own farm teaching, freeze branding, in-planting. We're kind of getting away from that, but those kind of practices for these new people, I try to be available to go out and have develop a relationship with my producers. And that's a little bit about, or a whole lot about, my program here in Monroe County, Todd.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was great. I think that's some good stuff you shared with us. We let you run a little over, and looks like Anthony Shelton from Washington County is getting ready to go. I really like that you add in the vaccination and dewormer with your bull test clinic. That's a good deal if you can get that donated free and give a little extra to those producers. And I bet some of us might like to learn more about your bull leasing program. Any questions as we're transitioning here? So Anthony, it shows that you started sharing, but I'm not seeing anything on my screen yet.
Yeah, it's saying your screen share is paused for some reason.
Want to try one more time?
Yeah, let me try it some other way here. Is that better?
It's coming up now. Yeah, we've got your slide with the 4 slides on the left.
Okay. I would echo what Jonathan said about the PPP loan. It's actually for gross income that changed. That was a level 2 on that PPP loan program. That was a big change that a lot of farmers missed out, where they had net income on the first one. So that was a big change, Jonathan. I don't know that all of our clientele has fully grasped that one, but it's an important part of that program. Ty, do you want me to leave it on that, or do you want me to change it? Can you see
if you want to try to, for the presentation, see if we can get it? That'd be awesome. Either way will work.
I'll just go with this way. For some reason, I saved it on my USB drive, and it's not exactly working the same way. So I would probably say Master Beef is kind of like everyone else. A ton of folks, and Ty kind of smiles because we used to do that a lot together here in Washington County and Unicoi and all that. Still doing that twice a year like everyone else, but kind of wanted to hit on some things that's maybe a little different than what a lot of folks are doing. But clearly in Washington County, we have a big cattlemen's association. For years we've had a heifer sale. We're going back to the bull and heifer sale this year, offering an ag enhancement program, bulls. I put this picture up there to show that we had a $90,000 grant in 2019. Our sales traditionally was at Kingsport Livestock Market. It's been moved to the Appalachian Fairgrounds. So a really nice facility, a lot of money in that facility there. But the great thing about the sales twice a year on the heifer sales, I work with a lot of producers. I'm talking about nutrition, relationship with both the association as well as buyers, sellers, all that stuff. We visit these farms and work with those folks, and it's really been a great asset. Since 2010, it's amazing how many times I go to farms and I see those WCCA ear tags and some of these cow herds and all that stuff. So that really gives me an understanding of longevity on some of these cattle. But association meets twice a year. We do a lot of speaking. Kind of like Jonathan says, we've been giving scholarships out for, I've been here 15 years now, so we've been doing that. Very important. We promote all the proceeds of these things go to scholarships. It takes a lot of money to put these on, but for the past 2 years, this association has been self-sufficient on selling commercial heifers. So again, ag enhancement will be offering on the bulls. We dove into the ag enhancement heifers some. There's not been a tremendous amount of difference on the sale of heifers versus cost share approved heifers and not cost share. But our next sale is April 10th at 4 o'clock at the Appalachian Fairgrounds. So if anyone knows, there's 87 heifers and 9 ag enhancement bulls. We're just kind of diving into the bulls deal. Jonathan, we've been trying to do this BSE clinics and all this stuff. And so hopefully we're trying to get into this, maybe selling bulls on Friday night and selling heifers on Saturday, but with just 9 bulls, we put them all together. So it's our long-term goals is exactly what you all have been doing in those counties there as well. Moving on, this is more of a regional thing. East Tennessee Cattle Alliance is kind of what some of these preconditioned sales it's been doing in Sweetwater, Athens, some of those places. It is a state graded sale. Mac Moss is the one who grades ours, as Jonathan mentioned down there in Sweetwater. We're having 7 sales this year, but you know, as an educational advisor, what we work on and what the great benefit to this is working with these vaccination programs, allowing these producers to understand the benefits of at least weaning them 45 days. And we're really trying to push them to wean at least 60 days now. Get them to understand why the importance of vaccinations, the pastorellas and all that stuff. But nutrition, I'll tell you, we worked as hard on nutrition, try to get them to understand, you know, a nutritional number 1 calf will be better than a number 2 any day of the week. But, you know, and clearly we put them in different weights and grades, steers, heifers, all that stuff. But, and, you know, one thing working with sale barns, you know, Jonathan and some of those have talked to it as well. They've actually benefited from a standpoint of understanding more about ag enhancement and some of those things. They're putting in some televisions for advertisement and trying to promote some of this days of preconditions. So that different mindset of actually giving more information out to producers. And so that's a project that they're doing. They're actually building another barn on the back with a cost share program to move bulls out of the way when we do have these preconditioned sales to just have a cleaner environment and all that stuff. So I would say there's more benefits than what folks say besides just selling the cattle on these preconditioned sales. One thing, Ty, that I guess I should have, you know, put on here. I know when we had our share day in November and stuff, Greg Quillen had talked about it and I did as well. But I will say, this thing has, you know, I get questions every day on the NRCS barn projects. I know that's not truly our program, but I would like to say I had a little bit of part in working with this program with the state, with Sheldon and Greg and some of their engineers and all that stuff. There's 3 designs out there that NRCS has engineered when it comes to basically a feeding type barn. Producers, if they go off those designs, or if they want a confinement barn, they have to hire their own engineer. In this area, we have one that's done it in Virginia for years. It's about $2,000 for that cost. So it's not as much as you would think on the engineering side. You know, NRCS is still looking through those things. But I guess what I'm kind of saying there is, you know, we've looked at a lot of barn ideas, bedding, packs, feeding styles. And I would say a lot of our NRCS folks rely on the production side of for us. And, you know, they understand the environmental side and where to put the manure storage and, you know, disbursement and soils. You know, they have to have a crop nutrient management plan in order for this. But some of their biggest complaints is folks are showing up at the NRCS door now and I just want a barn. They have no idea that they got to fix a problem. They've got to, you know, this is a need. This is not I think I want to have 500 calves, but I've got 30 right now. It has to be some of those pre-planned ideas that, you've got some problems on your farm. We're going to manage your creek banks and some of these few things to get you approved for a total on-farm kind of project is what they're really looking for. But we've spent some time viewing some barns. There's all kinds of different designs out there, but I really think, and those things that we have access to with air movement, just feeding styles, pen setup, all that stuff. I really think we're going to get utilized more than maybe we think. I know it's kind of a pain for some of these NRCS folks that, there is a lot of folks that's just showing up. I want a barn, but I really think this is something that our producers and as you all were talking about mud earlier, Sarah, and stuff, I don't think this is something that's going to be on every farm, but I think for the first time in a long time, NRCS is starting to look at this and saying this is an important part of our animal production system. So short and sweet, but that's what I've got.
Sounds good, Anthony. So Tim Woods is up next from McMinn County. Any questions for Anthony? Those barn
Anthony,
pictures
I have a
look
question.
great.
Can you share those plans that you have, Anthony? Those 3 barn plans that you have? Or
Yeah, I can get with Greg Quillen. Most of your NRCS folks have that basic designs, but they are. If you can't get them from your local NRCS, let me know and I can get them from Greg.
And Anthony, if you don't mind to put a link in the chat to the ETCA website where they can see those sale dates and information, I think that would be great for everybody to have it handy.
Sure will. But yeah, Jonathan, just let me know if you can't find that. But they've got those. Those are statewide designs, those 3 barn designs.
Tim, looks like you're all set to go.
All right, thanks, Ty. I'll kind of harken back to Jonathan. I was in Monroe County for 5 years, so Bob Slager was kind of my mentor, I guess, to learn about the ag side. And Bob was a good guy to kind of try to follow or to copy a little bit. He had a lot of great programs going on here in Monroe County and in this area. But one thing that I decided, I picked out 3 things that we do here beef wise, just to be able to fit in my 3 minutes here. So first of all, I want to talk about Beef College. We held our first one in 2000. We had about 30 producers. This was before Master Beef that we started this deal. And then when Master Beef started, I guess it was around 2005 or 6, we ended up still doing Beef College, but then I teamed with Larry and we did Master Beef in the fall. Beef College is usually held February, March. So I was doing Beef College and then we were doing the Master Beef in the fall. And so when Advanced Master Beef came out in 2013, 14, whenever that was, we quit doing the regular Master Beef course and we started being able to count things that we already do. So we integrated that as Beef College sessions counting as Advanced Master Beef. And of course, now back to just Master Beef as it's called. So Larry started working with me some then on the Beef College. Last year, 2020, we actually finished Beef College a week and a half before the shutdown. And so we were lucky about that. This year, we're going to actually, we moved Beef College to July. So we're hoping to get to do that in July. We'll be in our new building then and have more room to spread out and may have to take fewer people than usual, but we're going to hopefully make that work. But last year we had 93 participants. Usually we'd have about 65 participants before it started counting Master Beef. So now that it started counting Master Beef, it kind of increased our numbers 20 to 30. But we still got our core 65 guys that come every year, whether they need Master Beef or not. The rest kind of rotate in and out, new people or returning people. And one thing I learned is that when they first come to Beef College, they come for Master Beef credit, but they say, man, this is a good deal. I want to come every year. So our numbers have stayed steady at that 90 to 100 at each year at the Beef College. It's $50. They get a notebook and all their materials. At the end, we have a steak dinner and they get a cap And last year, the economic benefit was about 219,000 that they reported on the survey. Let's see, beef and dairy marketing. Back in 2005, Dean Williams purchased Athens Stockyard, and I talked Dean into starting some graded sales. And then also we decided just to go all straight precondition. We decided not to do any weaning calves. So we were kind of doing precondition when maybe precondition wasn't quite as cool all the way through. I know East Tennessee Livestock had some, but so we only had about 2,900 head. A lot of education over the years, like Anthony was saying, trying to get these guys to understand about weaning and giving shots and how that can benefit them marketing wise. And so we also added 4 graded Holstein sales. But now we have 12 graded preconditioned sales. It's the 3rd Thursday of every month. Holsteins are the 2nd Thursday of every month. Last year we had a little over 13,000 head. I think the year before 14. So it's been fluctuating somewhere between 13,000 over 14,000 head preconditioned only cattle through those sales. And they have to do a certification form. We started that back in 2005, that they've been vaccinated, have to have the lot numbers, all that stuff to prove they've been vaccinated. And they have to turn that in when they bring their cattle in. They also have to use a tag. We also, all of our cattle are tagged with EID tags. It's all electronic. We started that years ago to try to source these cattle. And so they get scanned when they come through the scales, getting graded. And so that helps putting the loads together and stuff. So when we got to ship them out west or wherever they're going, the computer puts all those pins together. So, you know, if we have loads, that's easy. But if some people put pins together, that's a lot easier for the folks in the office to get that paperwork to go on the truck. So last year, Holsteins were down. And I think a lot of that's got to do, and I don't know if Johnson and them may agree with me, a lot of that's got to do is we've got less dairy farms than we had when we started those Holstein sales, and especially when they started them in Sweetwater years ago. And also a lot of dairy guys using sex semen. So I think that's kind of, I don't know what the future of Holsteins will be as far as sales number wise. They'll still be around, I'm sure, but it'll be interesting. About 912,000 additional revenues, what we figure last year on the preconditions. Load lots, we started doing load lot tele auctions with producers out of North Georgia as well as here in Southeast Tennessee in this area back in 2006. Started working with Bill Bryant Cattle Company. He's right out of North Georgia, along with the Stockyard and Georgia Cattlemen's and the agent down in Gordon County, Georgia. We started out having those down in Gordon County, and then we have them at the Stockyard. But now with the COVID and everything, they're mainly just everybody on the phone. We don't actually really meet a lot together to do those, but it's every Wednesday, 10 a.m. every Wednesday. We have those sales. Last year we had a little over 13,000 head, so a little over $500,000 just for selling load lots. Heifer sale, we started this, worked with Larry. We put this together in 2008. TAP back then they had bull cost share, but weren't doing a whole lot on heifers. And I thought, well, we're doing all this on the male side. We need to try to do something to help producers on the female side to get better replacements and a little better genetics. So we started this heifer sale back in 2008. We usually have anywhere from 60 to 100 head. We go out, screen those. This gives us opportunities to work with those folks, like Anthony was saying, on their nutrition programs and whatnot. And we work with the Stockyard as well as the Cattlemen's Association on this sale. And this just shows what they averaged last year it was a little bit of a tough year just because of COVID and everything else. But the heifer sale has been a real good deal. We get to go out and work with different farmers and so forth. And so anyway, just real quick, that's pretty much three of the things, of the several things we do as far as beef work.
Thanks, Tim. That's great. So our next up will be Anthony Carver from Granger County. Any questions for Tim while we're transitioning? It's interesting. We've heard Bob Sliger's name a few times. He's had a big impact across the Eastern region counties, and I would even give him some credit for my training because he trained Larry Archer, who went before me in Unicoi County. So man, he had a lasting impact for sure. So Anthony, looks like you're all set to run. And it looks like you're still muted there, but maybe it's froze up on my end. Well,
all right, give me 5 minutes on the program. It's kind of like giving Jerry Clower 5 seconds on the program, comedian, but I'll do my best to get through.
Looks like we may have just lost Anthony. So I'll tell you what, let's see if we could let Manny jump on and then we'll come back to Anthony.
Okay, I wasn't quite ready there, but we'll see here.
Okay, see if we can get it. So Manny is going to share a little bit about the Fisheries First Responder Program. We felt like that would be useful for everybody. So he's going to repeat that in each session at the end, and then hopefully we'll get Anthony Carver back on to do his.
All right, is my up there, Ty?
I'm not seeing the screen share yet.
All right, hang on just a second. Let me.
And I see Anthony's back in. Anthony, we're going to give you just a minute, and Manny's going to jump in with his, and we'll come back to you. We'll try it again.
All right, let's see here.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, Anthony.
If you want to let him go ahead, Ty, that's fine.
You want to give it another go, Anthony? Then we'll.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, let's do it if you're ready, Anthony. And if you need to, if it would help you, Anthony, to turn your camera off to make things run smoother with your internet, feel free to do that. It's whatever you think is best here.
How's that? Can you hear me loud and clear now?
Yes, we can hear you. We can see your cattleman's talk. Looks good.
All right. Basically, I'm going to talk about one program that I'm doing this year, and real quickly, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the technology that I'm using to reach the people. I call this Cattleman's Talk Facts, what every producer should know and be telling. And the whole program is really trying to get some good information into our farmers' hands so that they can start talking the positive things about beef and about their livestock. And so, what I've done, I've made a brochure. It's not available right yet. I've just basically got it done. I've got a picture of it, but if I turn on my camera to show it to you, it may go away. So I'll show that in just a few minutes. But I'm going to go through this real quick. I want people to be talking about this at their stores, where they're in the grocery line, if they're at church or something of that nature. But this is giving some positive things that about our cattle, wow that cow, things of that nature. But I start with the United States economics and importance of beef. In Tennessee is 16th in cattle, and I go to the state statistics and I go on down to your county. And so then I start talking about the things that everybody thinks about, the steaks, the cheeseburgers, the things that I really enjoy, the meatloaf and things, and meatballs on your leather products, the byproducts that everybody is getting using every day, leather coats, leather jackets, leather purses, the furniture for your houses. I talk about how leather is the outside cover of all, sports balls. People starts making connections of how important the calorie is. And then I talk about the medicines. You know, there's a lot of diabetics out there in the world, and they're having to use insulin, which they come from cattle. Talk about some of the anti-sugars whenever you're having a transplant of the heart.
Oh man, we lost him again. Well, Manny, I think you're up then if you're good to go.
Okay. Well,
Anthony?
we'll try it again. Anthony must not have paid his internet bill today or something. All right, let's see. Let me get my presentation pulled up here. I hit share screen first and then pull it up. Okay, I've done this. It's been a time. I've slept. Well, there's Anthony back. Let's see.
Anthony's back. All right, we'll give it another go.
All right. We both may be trying to share at the same time. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
No problem. It's not your fault. We're just going to try to make it work.
Can anybody hear me now?
We can hear you. We can see it there. Items we eat.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. The internet has not been friend to me today. Let me see. Get this. Are you seeing a screen? I'm just going to try to go ahead. The gelatin basically is from, of course, your worms and your hooves, and you're getting Jello, marshmallows, gummy worms, gummy bears, chewing gum, things of that nature that people are using every day. And that, of course, all this is processed and purified to make sure it's very safe for everybody to use.
Anthony, for some reason, you're okay. You're putting it back.
Is it okay? Showing up now?
Yeah,
we use white glue in schools all last, and if you'll notice, the front picture is a cow on there. Everybody maybe has ever seen that before, but then of course glues come from hoofs and horns also. And then I'll go into the importance of how beef is actually the best lean protein that we could possibly have for our diets. Even though we do, of course, we need fruits and vegetables and everything else, the protein that getting from beef is a complete protein versus proteins that come from plant materials are really incomplete source of protein. They're not making all amino acids and things of that nature that we need. So you're getting B vitamins and zinc and things of that nature. I throw some other information up there about what we're actually getting and how our bodies is breaking it down. I also go to everybody talking about the methane and things that are harming the environment, and show them this is EPA numbers. And so I want that to be very clear that they understand that EPA is coming up with numbers. These are the people who most time are against us in some things, but you'll notice here that cattle only make up 2% of all the emissions that are brought from methane, but transportation, 18-wheelers, making of electricity, the jobs themselves, the industry is making, extreme amount more than cow would. So if all cows were gone today, still there's going to be a problem with methane gas. And so I need people to understand I'm breaking some.
All right, Manny, just to get us.
Poor Anthony and his internet.
I know it.
Well.
Hey guys,
hey,
are you hearing me now?
We are hearing you.
Sorry about this. I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit sharing because it's apparently not working, and I apologize for that. The other thing I was wanting to talk about was the way that I'm doing my programming, and I'm doing drive-in classes, and what that consists of is a radio transmitter and a projector, and I also do a huge big screen. I'm sorry, I'm having to the internet is just going haywire with me today. But do a large blow-up screen so that the producers stay in their vehicles and to do a drive-in type of programming. The radio transmitter was $209. You can buy that at any large music outlet. The big screen, which is I'm using a 25-foot screen, usually around $500 to $600. And the projector does have to be pretty specific. You need to at least have 5,000 lumens of projection there, and that cost me around a little over $1,000. But that is something that has been very needed. A lot of my farmers have flip phones, so I had to figure out some way to deliver programming. We have most of the time 65 people for every beef meeting that I do. So I had to figure out something new to do to make sure that the programming got out there. And there's a lot of them who just are not going to do anything on a computer. And so I had to figure out something new, and it's been working for us. Right now I've had 4 programs. All of those had over 100 people at them. Parking lot was full. It's been a very good program for me and a very good way of delivering the program. I had some other things I had to talk about, wanted to talk about, but of course my time is up with all the technology and problems that I've had, and I apologize tremendously for that, but chalk it up to Granger County.
Anthony, that was great, and I have a feeling you might get a few calls from some of these folks to bring that show on the road with the just general things for beef cattle producers to share their story in a positive way. I think that's cool. So Manny, let's see if we can make yours go and wrap this thing up. And you're still muted, just so you know.
Okay. All right. I should have been. I need to share screen and then open up my PowerPoint. Okay. That's what
either
or the other way around.
Probably open the PowerPoint and then share, I would say.
Okay, that's like all right, slideshow from beginning. Well, there I am. All right, I'm gonna get there, Ty. I've got my timer set. Now let me get to. All right, so am I good?
Looks perfect. Right. Let's do it.
I'm gonna go through this quickly, and I'm gonna leave Ty the last 5 minutes. I've got my timer set right here. But Ty, I asked Ty, and there's most of the folks on this call are not newbies, but to just give a real quick overview about the Fisheries First Responder program, because there's some new folks that are not even aware of it. And again, I'll try to be as quick as I can, leave Ty the last 5 minutes. That's my contact info. I've got it on the last slide also, so I'll just move on. Quick history, the Fisheries First Responder program started in 2006. Dr. Tom Hill, some of you old heads will remember, retired, and the Forestry, Wildlife, Fisheries Department decided not to replace him. So in that situation, they created a position known as the Fisheries First Responders, so there's one in each region, and those responsibilities are over and above our regular county duties. When it first started, there was no salary money, no expense money. It was just kind of on top of everything else. There was a little bit of interaction with the Forestry, Wildlife, Fisheries Department at first. Started out being 15% of our time, and that never was realistic, and it's still not. So there is some discussion being made about that, but it takes a lot more time than that, especially during the warm water temps. The original Fisheries First Responders were Ron Blair, Western, Craig Kimbrough, Central, which Craig has been there the whole time, still is, and Kelly Amonette over here in Morgan County in the Eastern region. The current ones, Western's had a couple of changes, but Justin Hargrove from Benton County is the Western one. Craig is still the original person in Central, and I am Eastern. I started in 2015. Kelly Amonette retired in 2014, so I've been doing it since 2015. Some of the responsibilities that we have, we try to do agent in services every 3 years or so. Commercial aquaculture production consults gets first time priority farm pond management consultations, agent assistance. We have done some producer trainings, some field days. I've been at a couple of master beef things with pond management, youth fisheries education. Some of the limitations, we are only one person per region. So we do still have a travel and supply assistance and a little bit of a stipend, but we got to group up travel. I cannot run all over East Tennessee every day and do county level work. Also, commercial producers do the pond owner's responsibility. The basic kits are $12 online. If they get their alkalinity reading, I'll be glad to tell them if they need lime, all that kind of stuff. But I just cannot do basic water testing for every pond in 33 counties. It's an impossibility. We try to do as much as we can on email, through photographs, group up travel. If you are interested in doing a little bit of county level research, we do have a little bit of funding for some supplies and things like that. If you have a pond owner that wants to do a little bit of research, we are glad to help with small backyard ponds. Got good brochures and handouts and that kind of thing on small backyard ponds, but there has been hundreds of those koi ponds, little small ones, put in recently, and we'll be glad to help, but we cannot come out and look at a 10 by 10 koi pond. That's just going to be a private company's responsibility. Weed control is the most common call, and I am going to update some of the information on our website, and I'll get that out to everybody. Blue-green algae is another common concern. Raising various things. I actually had somebody call me a year or two ago that was wanting to feed his neighbor's dead chickens out of his broiler houses to alligators. So I've had some strange calls, but pond construction, everybody thinks there's free money out there for pond construction. There's really not now. Leaky ponds, abandoned ponds, all those type things. And I'll kind of keep growing here. It's definitely okay for you to contact me direct. It's fine for producers to contact me direct, but I do want them to know who their local extension agent is and develop a relationship with their local office. So it is, there goes my time, but I'm about finished. There was and I'm not going to let any cats out of the bag here, because what I'm going to say about the statewide committee will be something that everybody will know. The details will be later, but there was just a statewide committee formed to kind of talk about the program. We are going to have electro-fishing shock boats in each region, plus one at Lone Oaks. So you'll be hearing more about that. That will be a fee-for-service program. We're not a substitute for a pond management or weed control company. We cannot give chemicals to the general public. My number one goal is to be a resource for extension agents. Statewide committee that Ty was on, they'll have that out to everybody soon. But the 2 or 3 for sure takeaways: forestry, wildlife, fisheries is going to support us more. Probably likely be a statewide coordinator for the fishery first responders, and we might get a new title change to something else that's a little bit more understandable. So Ty, I only left you 2 or 3 minutes, but anybody has anything question wise, let me know, and we are a resource that's available. So just let me know if I can help you with something.
Thanks, Manny. And we appreciate what you do for everybody to support us with the fisheries program. And I would just say, if you can call on Manny, get him as much detail as you can, some pictures and those kind of things, help him to be a lot more efficient to help folks and not have to run as much down. So we appreciate your time on that. I'm going to share my screen here and just run through a few things really, really fast. But you've got a handout of that in your email, so you can take a look. this was already mentioned, but I want you to know about this opportunity. I think we're going to send Dr. Rhodes out with a bang for his retirement come June 30th. And he has let us know that he'll keep his cell phone and email for a while because he has a lot invested in our program and he wants to support us if he can. But, you know, don't send every call his way. But if you need to check in with him on a question, he'll still be available. But he's going to cover all agent travel to this pasture and weed tour. So please think about that. See if you want to join us on May 26th. And Jonathan already gave us that date. We start at the Blount County Extension Office that morning, and it will include also lunch. I don't think I put that on the slide, but we've got all kinds of biscuits for lunch and for breakfast, and then lunch also. We just had this announced from Manette Waslacki, Organic Production in Service, so check that out. Let's see, you're all welcome to join the rest of our month of ANR Zoom session. So you've got that schedule there. If you've already presented, you just come and enjoy and listen and ask questions on the others. This is probably the biggest one with the number of presentations, but I think we've got about 10 or so in a couple of the others. John Goddard sent this out about NACAA Animal Science presentation opportunity, and y'all, I've just been blown away with your what you've shared with us today, and I think that we've got some great programs, and I've sat through these at the NACAA conference before, and any of you could jump in there and do one just as good as what I've seen in those national conferences. So think about that application due March 15th, and the information is on the website there. You may have seen this already, I think, in an email from me, but I just wanted to point it out. It's got some details on how to handle a situation where you may be going out on a farm visit or even a home visit that you just suspect might somehow land in a lawsuit. It's kind of a sticky situation. And so check that information out. We've never had really detailed guidance on that before, and that was something that was requested by agents, and it was partly made by agents for agents. So the second page of that may be a useful page for a lot of different situations. You might want to print a few handouts, not handouts, but a few hard copies to have in your pickup when you're going around on farm visits. And it's just a good way to take a lot of notes and not overlook anything. So use that if you want to. It's definitely not a requirement. It's just an extra tool to have at your disposal when you want to use it. I did want to take a second for announcements, comments, discussion, or other questions. We're pretty much out of time, but I want to mention the Region 4-H Livestock Judging Contest is April 6th at 6 p.m. It'll be virtual. The plan is to have 3 sets of animals with performance numbers, with EPDs, and then those 3 classes will have 10 questions for the senior high division in place of giving oral reasons. And then we'll probably have 5 sets of 5 questions on those 3 sets for the junior high division. There may be a set of bulls to judge in that contest, which we usually don't have, but with this, it gives us an opportunity to do something like that a little out of the ordinary. And then I know they mentioned the Southeast Tennessee Beef Summit has approval to happen with a number of over 50 people. It'll be June 4th at the McMinn County Expo Center. In the next minute or so, is there anything else we need to throw out there? Anybody want to share anything? Well, I want to thank you all for the great job you did on the presentations. I hope it wasn't too much to ask to take that time to throw a few slides together, but I think everybody has benefited from this, and we'll maybe look to bring a few back for an encore performance for some more detail to kind of learn how you do some of these things. So thank you for being on with us, and hope to see you in another session this month. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know, and I'm going to adjourn. Thanks, everybody.
Y'all.